Alright, so this is the new Pandemic Horde Rorqual fitting video and what to do when you are tackled. Before going out into the ANOM, it's very important to go ahead and make sure that you have at least 200 Navy Cap boosters, 3 W2s, 5 mobile micro jump units, and 5 drugs of each type. However, as long as you have more than one, that's really all that matters. You also want to make sure that you have at least 2,000 ozone, although I had to give a little bit to my ult to light a Sino in a previous take of this. And you want a full fleet hanger of heavy water, at least or as close to 60,000 oxygen as possible, and that's it. So let's go ahead. We've jumped into system, we docked into a keep star, we are now undocking to get back to full cap. You want to make sure that when warping to the ping in system that you are at full tank fit. That is 2 Pith-X type shield booster, 2 capital capacitor booster 2s filled with Navy cap boosters, and 2 Pithum C types along with your Concord capital shield resper. You want 3 Caldari Navy power diagnostic systems in the lows, damage control unit 2, 1 T1 capital drone mining augmenter, and 2 T2 capital drone mining augmenters. It's very important that in the mids you have it set up to be exactly like this. You want 1 passive module, you want your capital booster 2, you want your passive module again, and then another capacitor booster, then another passive module, then the Concord Repper, and then another passive. Well, I mean, that's not passive, but the reason why the adaptive invulns don't matter in terms of where they are next to modules is because you're not going to overheat those. You're only going to overheat the capacitor booster 2s and the Concord Reppers, and you want passive modules next to them, or modules that you aren't going to overheat. That way you aren't burning out modules quicker than you need to. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to warp to our mining ping, which is the medium. It has the 3 letter code and the date next to the ping. We're going to go ahead and warp there. This is pretty much your general overview setup. I like to have my drones here, inventory here. That's how I like to have all of my modules set up. You'll see that the panic is very off to the side, so I can't accidentally push it. And then the siege is away from, you know, like the boosts and stuff. If you wanted to make it a little bit better, you could have it set up this way or this way. That way it's just siege, your remote shield booster, and then the 2 links. That way if you misclick on anything over here, nothing bad will happen. The reason we have a shield booster right there is to go and rep any subcaps on grid, and also if drones shoot our excavators. So just to go over why we have a couple of modules in our repertoire. W2s, so you can go ahead and refit when baddies are coming. You could also put 3 out of your 5 drones in there. Drugs to increase your shield boost amount. Drone navigation computers to go ahead and make your drones faster. Although if you have a T2 core, 2 are fine. The difference between 2 and 3 drone navigation computers is negligible. If you have a T1 core, then 3 will give you the best bang for your buck, but if you have a T2 core, 2 are fine. 2 newts, 2 EM ward fields, 2 thermal dissipation fields. Make sure these are active, not passive, and 4 smart bombs and the warp scramblers. Use these if you are going to cheese tank whatever is coming after you. This to newt out tackle. Smart bombs to go and blow up bubbles if they're too close to you, so if you're not sieged you can just immediately jump out. You could also destroy incoming bombs and missiles with smart bombs to help decrease the amount of damage, and warp scramblers to go and tackle any drebs and supers that are next to you, or subcaps if you can't hold, if your tank isn't holding and stuff like that. So we're at the ping. You'll notice that we are at least about 180, 190 kilometers away from the closest rock. The reason being is that if you are greater than 250 kilometers away from anything, you will not be able to lock it. As you can see, one of the requirements for using your panic module is that you must have an active target lock on an ore or ice asteroid. So if you are unable to lock things, you will not be able to panic. Putting the ping at 150 to 200 kilometers away pretty much guarantees you could see most of, if not half of the ANOM is below 250 kilometers away. It guarantees that you'll have something to lock onto and panic at the ping if you get tackled there, even after like 2-3 hours of mining. So what we're going to do is we're going to find some dank spot to warp to, and we're going to left click that top left hand corner, right click your your warp to within number or button, set default 2500. You'll see that I've already done that. We're going to warp to 2500 meters. Once we land, we're going to right click approach the asteroid, and we are going to get under 1000 meters. Now if you control space, so if you land on the rock greater than 1500 meters away, when you get to about 30-60 meters per second and you hit 1500, anywhere between like 13 and 1500 meters away, control space your ship, and your ship should stop within a nice sweet point, you know, about 500 meters away from the rock or so. This essentially make sure that the rock isn't too big, that it takes your drones too long to get back, which decreases the risk of your drones getting bombed or something stupid like that. It also increases your ISK per hour because there's less drone travel time from your work to the rock. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to lock it, we're going to go and deploy our drones. FC has given us the all clear to go ahead and drop our W2 once we get close enough and start mining away. So pretend, you know, we're in comms, we're talking to our buddies, bullshitting about dank anime and stuff like that. Everything's all good. So you'll see once we hit about 1500 meters, we're going to go ahead and control space. Our ship is stopping, and we should stop around 500 meters away from the rock or so. If you end up closer than 1000 meters when you land, all you have to do is turn your Rorqual behind you and double click in space. You'll notice that the ship starts to decelerate significantly faster than if we just went and controlled space. And we'll go ahead and siege. We will deploy our W2. Now it's important when you deploy your W2 that you lock it and begin repping it, because it takes 60 seconds for it to anchor, and if any baddies come on grid, small stuff, cinnables and whatnot, and they shoot your W2 in its anchoring phase, it will just blow up, and if there's a bigger fleet behind them, you will no longer be able to refit, which is also partially why we remain in full tank fit until this is anchored. The other good reason as to why we keep a repper on our ship is for when drones spawn, or not drones, but rats in general, and they start shooting our drones, we can now lock our drone and just go and begin repping it. You'll also notice that we do 1055 HP per 5 seconds. So it's a pretty significant boost, and those rats aren't going to break that. So we've been mining for a bit, and also, I forgot, it's important. You want to right click your W2, open cargo. You'll notice that another window pops up. It now shows your W2 in there. So that way, say your, I don't know, a random fleet is passing by and local spikes to about 40, you can instantly Shift R, click your drone bay, type in EX. Notice how the drones are taking a bit longer to get back to us. If we show info, it's a 2000 meter rock. It takes a bit of time, it's not too bad, but anything above 4000 meters, you definitely want those triple drone navs in there. So now hit EX, left click, Control A, drop them in our W2, and now 3 of our 5 drones are safe, so if we die, it's not too big of a loss on the wallet. take those back out, and then we can just go ahead and begin mining again. So we've been mining for a while. You can use your fitting service. Enemy stagings are all clear. We could take off 2 of the adaptive invulns. I have a T2 core present, so we'll just go ahead and put 2 of the drone navigation computers on there. And we're happily mining away. So everything's hunky-dory, but all of a sudden, you know, local starts spiking. Brief, fairly big bomber fleet. FC missed it, didn't see it in time. So what you want to do is you want to shift R, open your cargo, type in EX again. First thing you do, save your drones. Then you're going to go ahead and right click, use fitting service, go back to your cargo home. You're going to pull these off. You know you took off your adaptives, so you're going to go ahead and put those back on. And you want these running once again. You'll see that our EHP boosted from 1.2 million to 1.6 million. So that's a pretty significant increase for very little cap drain. Also, when baddies spike, you'll instantly want to go ahead and desiege. You'll start boosting. Now you can see our 1.6 million EHP goes up to 1.7. I have very bad link skills, but even still, any assistance is better than no assistance. So we have our first enemy landing on grid. It's a Nyx. We're probably not going to be able to tank that with drugs. You can see that our boost amount is 29,830, which translates into roughly maybe 3,000 to 4,000 raw HP. So what we'll do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to take our drones, or not our drones, take our drugs, and you will notice that it gets boosted to 42,269, which is about 6,000 HP per rep. So we're not in too much trouble right now. The Nyx is going to go ahead and deploy its drones. It's going to lock us, send drones our way, and begin shooting us while tackling us. So now at this point also beforehand, if you knew it was Nyxes or bombers, Ishtars, it's a good idea to go ahead and fit those smart bombs right there, because you'll be able to go and launch those and, do a bit of damage to their drones, make them recall after a while, reload. You basically want to do whatever you can. I can't even start shooting my ult because I'm ACM'd on my Nyx. But so hopefully, okay, good, it didn't recycle. Alright, so we're tackled again, we're getting shot, we get torp salvoed, we're getting hit pretty hard. Now at this point, you'll want to go ahead and start repping, and even maybe overheat a little bit. What you never want to do is you don't want to rep when your shield is all the way down here, because then you're just wasting cap and you're wasting boost cycles. If you get neuted out, you'll also want to go and start cycling your capacitor boosters, but just make sure that you set auto repeat off. That way, you cycle your cap once and you're not wasting boost charges. You can also do that with your repper, and especially if it's just small stuff like the Munins, or not a very large fleet. But if it's a large fleet, then it doesn't really matter. Now once I get torp salvoed again, now I'm in structure, you want to panic and immediately start getting back to full jump cap. Also, you'll notice that I forgot that I was at a siege, So that would have also decreased my rep amount. So maybe I would have tanked a little bit better if I was still sieged. But at this point, you just want to leave the repper running, get back to full shield, get back to full jump cap, and then another thing you want to do is you want to scan for things like cynos. You want to scan for things like cyno inhibitors. If a cyno inhibitor goes up, you want to go ahead and light your cyno before it onlines, because if it onlines, you will not be able to light the cyno. Also, if you DC one anchoring, make sure you shoot it immediately with all of the Rorquals on grid. You do get a, where is it? You do get a minus 100 to drone damage penalty, but with drones out, with heavy drones, you'll get about 600 DPS depending on your skills. My drone skills are fairly okay, but you can get a little bit more than that. So you can pretty much just turn this off. You don't need that. You're 100% in vuln. Your drones are saved. Eventually, hopefully, response fleet will get on grid and you will come at a siege. If you're not tackled, you can go ahead and just immediately jump out, or wait until you are clear of bubbles to go ahead and jump out. If you come out of panic and you have to re-siege, you might have to re-siege, but if not, try not to, especially if we have faxes on the grid, because they will be able to rep you. But you'll also notice that once you are panicked, it is completely burnt out, so you will have to repair that once you get back to whatever citadel that you were in. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Oh, one last thing. When dictors hit grid, if you're not immediately tackled, try anchoring one of these. Just go ahead, launch for self. It'll anchor. It has a 60-second anchoring timer, but if it doesn't die, if it manages to online, it will boost you 100 kilometers away in the direction you are facing. So if a dictor is burning at you, but that manages to anchor before you are tackled, say you're on the other side of the ANOM or something, and they have to go and ping off or warp off and warp back, that is a good way to save yourself. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot to it. So, until next time.